Your phone rings. Unknown number. You answer. A stern voice cuts through. This is Agent Mitchell from the Internal Revenue Service. We have an active arrest warrant issued in your name for tax evasion. You owe $8,347 in back taxes. If you don't pay immediately, local law enforcement will be at your door within the hour. Your heart races. Your palms sweat. Arrest. Police. How did this happen? Here's what you need to know right now. And I mean right now. If you ever get a call like this, you hang up. Because the real IRS, they don't operate like that. Not even close. Today we're diving deep into one of the most dangerous, widespread, and devastating scams targeting Americans right now. This isn't just about losing money. This is about wire fraud, a federal crime that's robbing people of their life savings, one threatening phone call at a time. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot these predators, what to do when they call, and why this scam is so much bigger than you think. Let's get into it. Let me paint you a picture of how this scam typically unfolds, because understanding the pattern is your first line of defense. It starts with a phone call. Sometimes it's a voicemail. Sometimes it's a live person. The caller ID? It looks official. It might even say Internal Revenue Service or display a Washington, D.C. area code. That's called spoofing, and it's terrifyingly easy to do. The voice on the other end is authoritative, confident. They have your name, maybe even part of your social security number or address. They know just enough about you to sound legitimate, and that's the hook. They tell you there's a problem, a big problem, outstanding tax debt, fraudulent tax return filed under your name, immediate legal action pending, arrest warrant issued. The words hit like hammers. They're designed to trigger panic, to shut down your logical thinking, to make you react instead of respond. And here's where it gets psychological. They create urgency. They tell you that you need to act right now. They say local police are on their way. They mention deportation if you're an immigrant. They threaten to revoke your driver's license, freeze your bank accounts, or seize your property. Then comes the demand. Payment. But not just any payment. They want specific methods that are nearly impossible to trace or reverse. Gift cards, wire transfers, cryptocurrency, prepaid debit cards. They might tell you to go to a specific store, buy thousands of dollars in iTunes cards or Google Play cards, and read them the codes over the phone. Or they'll instruct you to wire money to a specific account immediately, before the warrant is executed. Some victims are kept on the phone for hours. The scammer won't let them hang up, won't let them think, won't let them verify anything. It's psychological warfare. And here's the devastating truth. It works. According to data from the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, over 1 million Americans have received these threatening calls. The reported losses, over $29 million. And those are just the cases that were reported. The real number, much, much higher. This isn't petty theft. This is organized crime. This is wire fraud, a federal offense that carries serious penalties. For the criminals, that is. For the victims, it carries heartbreak. Let me repeat that because it's crucial. The IRS will always contact you first through official U.S. mail. A letter in an envelope delivered by the United States Postal Service to your physical address. Not a phone call, not a text message, not an email, not a Facebook message, not WhatsApp, not a DM on Instagram. Mail, old-fashioned, physical mail. According to the IRS's own guidelines, they typically send notices through the U.S. Postal Service. You can verify any notice by searching the IRS website for legitimate notice numbers. Every real IRS letter has a specific notice or letter number in the upper right corner that you can look up on irs.gov. They will never demand specific payment methods. This is huge. The IRS accepts payments, yes, but they have official channels. You can pay through irs.gov, their official website. You can mail a check made payable to U.S. Treasury. You can set up payment plans through official processors. What they will never do is demand payment via gift cards, iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, etc. Wire transfers like Western Union or MoneyGram, prepaid debit cards, cryptocurrency like Western Union or MoneyGram, prepaid debit cards, Cryptocurrency, this encryptor, etc. Think about it logically. Can you imagine the United States Treasury Department operating on iTunes gift cards? It's absurd. But in a moment of panic, when someone who sounds official is threatening your freedom, logic goes out the window. They will never ask for credit card information over the phone. The IRS has secure systems for payment. They don't need to call you and ask you to read your credit card number out loud. That's not how federal agencies operate. They will never demand immediate payment without documentation. Even if you do owe taxes, the IRS follows a process. You receive notices, you have time to respond. You receive multiple communications before any serious collection action is taken. There's a paper trail. There's transparency. A phone call demanding instant payment? That's not the IRS. That's a predator. We're conditioned from childhood to respect authority figures, police officers, government officials, judges, the IRS. When someone claims to be from a position of authority, our natural instinct is to comply, to believe them, to do what they say. The scammers exploit this. They use official-sounding titles, agent, so-and-so. They reference badge numbers. They might even transfer you to a supervisor to make it seem more legitimate. It's theater, and it's effective. Let's talk about the human cost. Because behind every statistic is a real person whose life was upended. Meet Sarah. She received a call from someone claiming to be from the IRS. They told her there was a discrepancy in her tax return from 3 years ago. They said she owed $4,200 in back taxes, plus penalties and interest. Total amount due, $6,800. They told her an arrest warrant had been issued. They said local police were preparing to come to her workplace to arrest her in front of her colleagues and boss. They said her only option to stop this was immediate payment. Sarah panicked. She was a single mother working 2 jobs. The thought of being arrested, of losing her job, of her children being left without her was unbearable. She went to Target during her lunch break. She bought $6,800 in iTunes gift cards, maxing out her credit card and draining her checking account. She sat in her car, reading the codes over the phone to the scammer, believing she was saving her family from disaster. It wasn't until later that evening, when she mentioned it to a friend, that she realized she'd been scammed. The money was gone, unrecoverable, and the emotional trauma that lasted much longer. Or Robert, a 72-year-old retiree. Robert got a call saying he owed taxes on his pension income. The caller was aggressive, threatening. They told him his pension would be frozen, his Social Security benefits stopped, and federal charges would be filed against him. Robert, terrified and confused, wired $12,000 from his retirement savings, money he'd spent 40 years accumulating, gone in an afternoon. These aren't isolated incidents. According to investigations by IRS Criminal Investigation, scam operations have identified thousands of victims nationwide, with total losses calculated in the tens of millions of dollars. One leader of a $9 million IRS impersonation scheme was sentenced to over 11 years in federal prison, but by then, the damage to victims was already done. Alright, now for the practical part. What do you actually do when you get one of these calls? Here's your action plan. Step 1. Stay calm. I know that's easier said than done, but remember, the real IRS doesn't operate this way. If someone is threatening you with immediate arrest over the phone, it's not legitimate. Period. Step 2. Don't engage. Don't argue. Don't provide any information. Don't confirm your name, address, or social security number. Don't press any numbers if it's a robocall. Don't answer questions. Just hang up. Step 3. Document everything. If you have caller ID information, write it down. Note the date and time. If they left a voicemail, save it. This information can be useful for reporting. Step 4. Verify independently. If you're concerned there might actually be an issue with your taxes, contact the IRS yourself through official channels. Call their main helpline at 1-800-829-1SERV40. Visit irs.gov. But do not use any contact information provided by the suspicious caller. Step 5. Report it. Report the scam call to the Federal Trade Commission at reportfraud.ftc.gov. The Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration at 1-800-366-4484, the IRS directly through their online reporting system. Your report might not get your money back if you've already paid, but it helps authorities track these criminals and potentially stop them from victimizing others. Step 6. Warn others. Tell your family, especially elderly relatives or anyone who might be vulnerable. Share this information, forward this video. The more people who know about these scams, the fewer victims there will be. What if you already paid? If you've already sent money, act immediately. Contact your bank or credit card company and report the fraud. If you wired money, contact the wire transfer company, Western Union, MoneyGram, etc., and report it as a fraudulent transaction. If you purchased gift cards, contact the company that issued them and report the scam. File a police report. Report it to the FTC and TIG2 immediately. Time is critical. The faster you act, the better chance you have of recovering at least some of the money. Though I'll be honest, recovery rates are low. Protect yourself going forward. Never give personal or financial information over the phone to unsolicited callers. Be skeptical of anyone creating urgency or pressure. Remember, legitimate agencies give you time and options. If something feels wrong, trust your instincts. Your gut is often right. If a call feels off, if something doesn't seem right, there's probably a good reason. Now, before we wrap up, I want to share some seriously underrated techniques that most people don't know about but should. These are the hacks that can save you before the scammers even get close. Hack 1. Set up a verbal password with your family. Here's a trick borrowed from cybersecurity experts. Create a secret code word or phrase that only you and your trusted family members know. If someone calls claiming there's an emergency involving a family member, ask for the code word. Scammers often impersonate relatives in distress. This simple password system stops them cold. Hack 2. Enable call screening on your phone. Both iPhone and Android have built-in call screening features that most people never activate. On Android, Google Assistant can answer calls for you and display a transcript in real time before you even pick up. On iPhone, you can send unknown callers directly to voicemail. Go into your settings right now and turn these on. Let technology be your first line of defense. Hack 3. Create an IRS.gov account. This is brilliant and almost nobody does it. Go to irs.gov and create an official online account. Once you're logged in, you can see your actual tax records, any real notices, and your genuine payment history. When a scammer calls claiming you owe money, you can log into your account in real time and verify that they're lying. It's like having a truth detector in your pocket. Hack 4. Use the grey rock method. If you accidentally answer a scam call, become the most boring person on earth. Give one-word answers. Show zero emotion. Don't confirm anything, not even your name. Scammers are trained to read emotional responses. They feed on fear and urgency. When you give them nothing to work with, you become an unprofitable target and they'll move on. Hack 5. Set up two-factor authentication on everything. This protects you from the aftermath. If scammers do get some of your information, two-factor authentication on your bank accounts, email, and financial platforms means they still can't access your money. Use an authenticator app, not SMS codes. Those can be intercepted. Hack 6. The 48-hour rule. Implement a personal policy. Any financial decision over $500 requires a 48-hour waiting period. No exceptions. Tell yourself, tell your spouse, tell your accountability partner. This simple rule gives your logical brain time to override the panic response scammers create. Real emergencies from real agencies can wait 48 hours. Scams cannot, and that's how you'll know the difference. Hack 7. Put yourself on the National Do Not Call Registry. Visit donotcall.gov and register your number. While this won't stop all scammers, they're criminals who don't follow rules. It reduces the volume of legitimate telemarketing calls, making it easier to identify which calls are definitely suspicious. These scammers are targeting people during their most vulnerable moments. Tax season, after a job loss, during financial hardship. They're predators, and they're counting on fear and confusion to make you act before you think. Don't let them win. knowledge is power. Share this video with everyone you know, especially elderly relatives, immigrants, young adults filing taxes for the first time, anyone who might be particularly vulnerable to these tactics. If this video saved you or someone you know from losing money to these scammers, let me know in the comments. Hit that like button to help this information reach more people. Subscribe if you want more content about protecting yourself from scams and fraud. Remember, the IRS communicates through proper channels. They're bureaucratic, yes, but they're also bound by rules that protect you. Anyone who bypasses those rules isn't from the IRS. Stay safe out there, stay informed, and most importantly, stay suspicious of anyone who threatens you over the phone.